Hi, everyone. I keep getting a lot of questions about how to manage and cope with anxiety and depression as a sensitive. And I think that the first thing to sort of consider is what we feel that anxiety and depression means to us. A lot of us come with these, negative preconceived notions as to what anxiety and depression means. And that's because of the psychological field defining these terms in a very negative way, sort of associating them with people that are not capable of functioning normally in society. And it's not necessarily a debilitation, it's just a difference in the way that we do function. So I want to just go over and give you guys something else to consider, just in shifting your thinking towards these terms and these feelings of anxiety and depression. So, first, anxiety, most of us consider it an overwhelming inability to function in a room with a lot of other people, or at work, just in society in general, outside of our bedrooms. And instead of considering it something that overwhelms you, if we consider it just that we are highly in tuned and aware of everything that goes on around us, it gives us a lot more control, and it gives us a sense of self-awareness, that helps us to better balance in these situations where we are potentially feeling overwhelmed. So what I mean by that is, instead of considering yourself somebody that is incapable of going into society or hanging out with a lot of people, going to a party, going just food shopping, because it overwhelms you, sort of understand just that you are affected by everything else that is around you because of the type of being that you are. You're very sensitive to the emotional energies that are emitted from everything in this physical existence. And oftentimes, just being able to comprehend the fact that we are aware of what we are feeling desensitizes us to it and makes it much easier to balance and stay balanced in these environments that are not necessarily our preference or natural way of existing and living. Next time you go to the supermarket, or you have to go to work, instead of focusing on it as, okay, well, I can't function here, it overwhelms me, I get anxiety, I'm scared of it, I worry about it. Try to just think about yourself as somebody that's very, very, very in tune to everything that's around you, and remind yourself that that's all it is. It's just a heightened sense of awareness of everything that you're seeing, that your brain is processing. And if you understand that it's not that you can't function properly in social settings, or you know in everyday life situations, it's just that you are very aware of it, and that the energies that are emitted from everything do overwhelm you and do require you to sort of take yourself out of those situations often, and find ways for you to recharge yourself and to decompress. All of a sudden, anxiety just doesn't seem so negative anymore. It just, it's like, it's just an everyday thing, like brushing your teeth, like taking a shower. It just becomes part of who you are, as opposed to being this diagnosed you know mental disability where you're incapable of functioning properly in society. The other end of that is depression. Many people that are sensitive go through states of depression, and I don't consider this an inability, or a lack of a desire to thrive as a human being. I consider this my body understanding that I am a very, very sensitive, human being, that I process a lot of information. I handle a lot of energies on a day-to-day basis, and that I need to go into a state of deep rest. And it doesn't mean that I don't want to survive. It doesn't mean that I don't want to live in my environment. It just means that my body needs time to heal, to regenerate, to rejuvenate itself. And I embrace that. So I like to use the term the nothingness. I like to go into my nothingness where, I have my hair thrown up. I'm home. I'm really not doing much. I don't watch TV. I kind of hang out in my bed. I lay, in the grass. I do a lot of journaling. I just hang to myself. And do I have family members that don't get that? Yeah. I mean, I like to say that I'm not lifing today. Sorry, not lifing today, or I'm not peopling today. Thank you so much for the invitation, but no thank you. And you come to laugh about it because it's not a state of depression. I'm not sad. I just need to go into this state. It's almost a meditative state where I don't really want to process everything in this physical realm anymore. I don't want to talk to people all that much. I don't want to function in society. And I don't want to feel bad about it either. So the next time that you go into, a depression, consider if you are really, really, really sad, or if, everything that you deal with on a day-to-day basis as a sensitive human being has made you want to go into a state of deep rest, deep decompression, where your intuitive self is telling you, hey, it's time to rebalance. It's time to recharge. I need to take a break from everything that I'm feeling, and I need to allow my body to readjust. And again, it gives you a sense of control over your life, where depression makes you seem like you don't have control of yourself, and that you're not thriving, where that's not necessarily accurate. Coping with anxiety and depression is, I think, the reason why many of us don't ever quite get over that hump, because we're thinking of it as coping. We're thinking of it as something that we have to constantly resist, something that we have to constantly fight against. And in truth, it's not something we have to fight against. It's just something that we are. It's a part of us. It's just how we process and perceive the world around us. It's the information that we receive from inside that gets projected outside. It's the energetic emittance of everything around us that we, receive that winds up inside. It's just all energy that needs to flow in the way that it needs to flow. And when we try to cope, or when we try to prevent it from just being what it is and accepting it for what it is, we wind up making it worse, and we wind up actually maladapting and malcoping. So I don't even want you guys to think of it as something that you have to cope with. I want you to just consider it a part of who you are, and understand that there's no negativity to it. It just is. And the more we think of it as something that's affecting us, as opposed to understanding that it is just something that is us, the more we struggle with it. So again, this goes back to trust or struggle. If you're having what you think is anxiety, maybe the only issue with your anxiety is the fact that you consider it anxiety, which is a term that somebody else came up with that maybe isn't resonating with you, and you're not understanding it because it's not what it truly is for you. Same thing with depression. Some of us go into depressions because we don't know why we're depressed, and we have this, again, preconceived notion that, well, we must be depressed because something is wrong, and that's not true. Well, it's not always true. So anyway, again, this is all about trusting your struggles and resonating, the way that is appropriate for you, and understanding that in life, a lot of these positive and negative thoughts that we have really do affect us. And instead of thinking of anything in a negative way, we need to embrace it just as something that is, and not try to resist what it's trying to tell us. So, again, anxiety, it's not trying to tell us that we are overwhelmed and incapable of functioning in society as human beings. It's telling us that we feel a lot of the energy and everything that goes around in this world, and also connected to our spiritual self. We are aware of many, many, many things. And at times it can get overwhelming, and we need to learn to balance it. The latter end of that, is the depression. Well, it's not necessarily a state of depression where we're not thriving, and we don't want to be in this world. It's just, it is what it is. It's a feeling that we need to feel, and we need to allow to tell us what it means. It means that we need to rest, we need to process, we need to clear our thoughts, we need to rejuvenate ourselves. And we need to go into a state of deep rest because of the amount of anxiety that we feel on a day-to-day basis. So I hope that this makes sense to you guys. I have a lot of information on this on my website, and which is empathrising.com, and also my Instagram page, Empaths and HSP, which goes over the day-to-day just processing of everything that we're feeling and the emotions that we're trying to come up with definitions for to help understand them instead of feeling them. I also go over a lot about, the laws of non-resistance and how that really helps us to understand our state of being, and not trying to justify or rationalize it, just letting it be, because that's what we are. We are just states of being, and we have to allow each one of those states of being to just be, and that's how we learn and we gain wisdom from it. So, okay,